Here's our UPS Maximum Performance. Think of Bristol as Circus Maximus. And DW is the track's all-time winning driver with 12 victories here, 7 consecutive wins at Bristol. So, Darrell, we're coming up on halfway. What does a driver have to do to achieve UPS Maximum Performance here?
Yeah, I mean, it's the most obvious thing I could say, and that's first you got to finish. That's the biggest thing you got to consider when you come here. And the other thing is keep your car all intact. Don't tear your car up. If you saw my car, almost after every one of those wins didn't have a scratch on it. So you pick your times, pick your places, pick your fights. Be there at the finish.
And there's the all-time win list. Kurt Busch and Jeff Gordon with 5 apiece, the leading active drivers.
You know, Mike, when I looked at Darrell's numbers, obviously 12 wins at one racetrack is impressive, but to me it supports what he was talking about. Always drove his car to the truck after the race. How about 26 top 5 finishes for DW here?
Wow. Greg Biffle, we're told, having some trouble here. Dick?
Yeah, Biffle is losing positions, Mike, and it has nothing to do with his health. The right rear tire on that car, he says, is going soft.
You know, as we're approaching about 11 laps from halfway, there was a little concern about the right rear tire here. There were some cars in practice yesterday that made some 30 and 40 lap runs, and there was a little bit of hazing, a little bit of wear on the outside of the right rear. They felt like the Nationwide Series 300 lap race would improve that with the rubber going down.
That's why I was talking to, I was trying to get Krista down there to see the 48 cars tires, because, you know, he ran 120 some laps on that one set of tires. You're right, we were seeing some wear on the edges of the tires in practice.
Now Biffle continues to run 13th. One driver who was up in the top 10 and has now slid back to 20th is Tony Stewart. What's up with Tony, Dick?
Well, Mike, he came in as one of the favorites to win the race because he has led so many laps here. The last 3 spring races, he has led 51% of all possible laps, even though he has not won here since 2000, since 8 years ago. But he has been struggling with the race cars. Stewart says the car is just fine in the middle of the corners, but coming off, it just is too loose. So they've been working on it, and on the last pit stop, they took a long time to make major adjustments to the number 14 car. It doesn't seem to have helped. He hasn't picked up the positions that they hoped he would.
See, Darrell, Mike, that was the characteristics in yesterday's Nationwide Series race. They ran the same tire that the Sprint Cup Series runs. This track got looser. It did not get tighter as the race went on.
Now on the right, you see Jimmy Johnson trying to battle Michael Waltrip and Denny Hamlin closing in. What about the 48's tires, Krista?
Yeah, you guys were talking about that. You know, it's exactly what I asked Chad Knaus this morning about the tire situation. He said he wasn't concerned about it because here the hot temperatures really don't come out till about 4 o'clock. He said in practice they didn't have any problem because they weren't up to temperature. I just went down and asked Lisa Smokestad, the tire specialist for the 48. She said even with that long run, they have absolutely no tire problems.
Which is typical for most racetracks we go to. NASCAR depends, boy.
Hey, be smart.
No kidding, that wasn't.
That's Curtis Markham, Denny Hamlin's spotter, just telling him, hey, we're halfway. Be smart here.
I got to tell you, you
Let's
back up.
this up
I was going to say,
yeah,
I bet if you back
go.
up, there's a reason for what happened. And there it is.
Coming off turn 2, little.
And Denny's saying, you know, what are you doing? Where are you going?
Yeah, because Hamlin was trying to be cautious, lapping Bobby Labonte, and Marcus wanted to go, and now they're side by side. This is for 3rd place. Matt?
The Ambrose and Hamlin teams, Mike, are pitted next to each other on pit road, and Mike Ford looked down to the 47 pit box, pointed to his head. Everybody acknowledged the same exact thing. Too early to be racing like that. Everyone's got to think, just like what Curtis Markham told Hamlin.
Well, and right now, the smartest thing the 47 can do, he doesn't have to pull over and just say, okay, you can have the spot. But the 11 is obviously quicker. He was going to spin him around if he doesn't let him get by.
Ooh, a little contact there?
No, they'll have more because it's just not necessary.
No, I guess not. Just
there
close.
you go. Now, that's all you have to do.
Right.
Run up the hill, let the man go by, and I'll follow him.
We got a long way to go.
How come
you make it sound so easy.
They just need to stand up here for a little while. This is blind obvious, I reckon.
You know, Darrell, I think you and I have been watching the same car here for the last few laps. A guy that's kept his nose pretty clean. Kasey Kahne in that 9 car qualified in the 5th position. He moved up into the top 12 in points after Atlanta by finishing 7th. He's just had a nice, clean, quiet race so far, Darrell.
Yes, he has. I've been watching him, and the car is very steady, very consistent.
Krista has more.
The condition with his car from center off has kind of changed throughout the race, but really he's been loose in the entire race. They've attacked that with air pressure adjustments, and it's starting to come around. Kasey Kahne currently 7th on the track.
And you know, Larry, this is the first time he's been in the top 10 in points since August of last year.
And look who he's chasing. Montoya, Jeff Gordon, the 24, Marcus Ambrose, and the 11. That's all for position. That's 3rd through 7th right there.
Right there with him.
Kyle Busch at 269 laps has led nearly 200 of them. And he has put half the field a lap down. Tony Stewart is the last car on the lead lap in 21st.
And we still have 39 cars still on the racetrack. The cars that are out of the race: Sterling Marlin, Joe Nemechek, Todd Bodine, and Dave Blaney.
And when you look at the racetrack, you're never in clear sailing. You always are in traffic. You see that the 18 car, Kyle, is coming up on the back of his teammate, or on the back of Tony Stewart in the 14 car. There's cars all the way around the racetrack. You're constantly working traffic.
Well, this is the longest green flag run we've had. We've been running now for 72 laps, close to 75 laps under green.
Tony Stewart last year led half the laps, now in danger going a lap down, but with a different team. Here is Dale Earnhardt Jr., who has fought his way from 42nd at the green flag up to 17th. Steve?
Mike, as you said, he had made a lot of progress, but it seems as he's hit a brick wall. He told crew chief Tony Uri, something must be wrong with the air pressures, Tony Jr. The car is too tight to start, and it just won't go anywhere.
And you know, this is kind of what plagues the 88 car, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Tony Uri Jr. They either don't adjust enough or they overadjust. They have a tough time seemingly keep up with the racetrack for a 500 lap race.
Now he is 3 seconds plus a lot of cars in between from going a lap down, so should be able to stay on the lead lap.
And Mark Martin said something interesting the other night. He said, you know, we try setups. We got four cars to pull off of. Mine, Jeff's, Jimmy's, and Dale Jr.'s. I try all their different setups, and I actually ended up liking Jeff Gordon's setup the best. Now, in my mind, if I was the 88 car and I had a teammate that had a car that was running like that 24 is, you know, I would pull off of that information and apply it to my car. I just don't know if they're doing that or not.
But, you know, we're seeing, I think, this racetrack go through some changes right now as we're approaching the 300-lap mark. And that's exactly what Kyle Busch was talking about when he talked to Steve Addington earlier. Keep up with what other guys are doing, what other teams are doing, adjusting their car.
Now, this is tricky because Busch is trying to lap Stewart and the 19 of Elliott Sadler, who are running different lines. And then there's Hornish, who's already a lap down. You gotta pick your way through here pretty carefully.
And you do, and it's been some time. I can't tell you how long ago, maybe 10, 15 years ago, when you could see cars running up around the top of the racetrack the way they are here this weekend.
2-2, just 2.
I mean, Tony is desperately now trying to stay the first car a lap down. Should we get that caution, he would get the free pass and be back on the lead lap.
Ryan Newman started this race on the outside pole, but he's in 10th place right now. Steve?
Mike, he's lost some positions here recently. He said his car's gotten loose, but he's also a little concerned. He said he feels a vibration in the right front. He's heard it for about the last 15 laps.
And what's not good about that? That's one of the cars in the danger zone. They come in here 32nd in the points, only 47 points to the good inside the top 35.
Battling David Gilliland in the 71. Gilliland 2 laps down. Kyle Busch continues to add to his lap leading total here at Bristol.